Okay,
Yeah.
so I think something that would be quite useful is to use a lot of power moves on the weight side. So like clean and presses and those kind of moves that are, you can lift heavy, you can go for a heavy deadlift, you can go for a heavy clean, but they are not just push or just pull, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So you have the combination of both, and you have a little bit of upper body, lower body combination as well. So I think it's a good focus for someone that's not just looking to be massive, but is looking to develop muscle
Yeah.
to be able to stand their ground on a Quidditch pitch. And I mean, there's nothing wrong for going for the heavy weights, um, maybe twice or three times a week. But then I think it would be good to finish the session with some sort of like metabolic conditioning or a finisher or something like that, that is just pure power. So like stuff, for example, if you're on a leg day, finishing the day with box jumps or burpees or squat jumps or something like that, to hit the power and keep your muscles just um, going for the speed,
Yeah.
getting used to the speed, not just the slow movement of the weight training.
Yeah. It does actually sound a lot like what I've put together. So like on the end of the leg day, for example, there would be kind of weighted squat jumps, so like with dumbbells in your hand as well, just to add a little bit of resistance, and step ups, and things like that. Um, and so yeah, when I was looking into this, I looked at what other sports do.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, in American football, they love all the kind of power cleans and things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so what I've tried to do is, because I'm quite wary of the not wary, trying to tailor it to the Quidditch community. I am assuming that quite a lot of people don't really have um, a lot of experience with some of these movements. So I've tried to find
Mm-hmm.
a balance between like some of the more technical Olympic lifts, but then also having exercises that will be able to produce that strength and power. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been tricky, and I hope I've got the right balance, because I don't want to put people off with really technical stuff that it will take them months to just learn. Then also I want it
Yeah.
to be something practical and something that will be beneficial as well. So I think
Yeah.
that's, yeah, something that I've thought about a lot, and yeah, I hope it's I've got it right.
Yeah. It sounds good. Are you like, I don't know what you are producing. Is it just like some sort of PDF, or are you including like videos or?
So it's just a spreadsheet that anybody could download. Um,
Cool.
but the way it works is you can input your own numbers, and then the formula will work out what you need to do in each lift in every session. So it doesn't matter if
Oh.
you're really strong or really weak. The numbers will be adapted to you. Um, and then I'm putting together like an explanation that will
Mm-hmm.
have instructional videos, because not everybody will have done the movements
Knows.
before.
Yeah.
And then also on YouTube, there are lots of rubbish videos
Yeah.
that tell you bad form. So I tried to pick some good ones as well. So for the people that
Yeah.
haven't um, done it before, and maybe don't have access to somebody who can show them, then at least they'll be able to see uh, some some good form.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds really good. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I really think you should charge for it, at least like a fiber access for it, because sounds like you've been putting a lot of work into it. And
Well, I I, I think I'll do it for free. But yeah, maybe in the future I'll look to do something else. But
yeah,
yeah, it's I have another job, my full-time job, and I love that. So this has only ever been like a
Yeah,
hobby kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I just hope that it's useful and people like it.
yeah. I think something that would be good is to just add sort of a why. Why do you want to do strength training? Which like people, if people understand the why, then they're more likely to do it.
Mm,
So if it doesn't have to be something long, but just like sort of, they might even assume it, but if you just tell them that by being stronger, they're going to be able to run faster, to jump higher, to hold a tackle and do a tackle,
mm,
then that is why they want to be looking into the strength training. And you can even, a lot of people go for the more basic things, and the only reason why they want to work out is to burn calories and weight or whatever. So you can even say that by doing this kind of moves, you're actually burning more calories than by just walking or running on a treadmill for
mm,
hours.
yeah,
Because by using weights, your body's just having to work out harder, right? So
yeah, yeah.
those are the things that might come like really obvious to someone that is used to going to the gym, but people, especially in Quidditch, like they probably never done any exercise before.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I made like a form, like a questionnaire, I think, in UK Quidditch, and
Hmm.
people ask questions. And quite a few people had said that they would be interested in going to the gym, but they weren't really sure of what the benefits would be. So I think that is an
Hmm.
area that people do need more information on that. Yeah, if you do increase the capacity of your muscles to be able to function, then that function will be running, and so running faster or XYZ. And yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like not a lot of people are really aware of that.
yeah, and reduce, like, just telling people that it's not true that for doing a heavy squat they're just gonna go huge, and like especially for a lot of female players,
Yeah,
there's this huge belief that if you do heavy weights you're gonna become like Rocky. So
yeah. Yeah, I wrote a little bit about that, and I think it's just you could look at any like skinny teenage boy in the gym who's been going at it for years and years and years, and like it's not
yeah,
easy to get big. Like you don't get big by accident. You have to make a concerted effort to do it. Like if you touch a barbell, you're not going to accidentally turn into the Incredible Hulk. But yeah, I think that's
yeah,
a big misconception.
yeah. And I don't know if you're adding any sort of nutrition thingy, because it has like obviously the weight training has to be supported by um the protein and the like the macros, the right amount. I think it's something that if you're having a spreadsheet that calculates stuff for people, it's something that it could potentially be really easy to implement, because you only like the targets, the macronutrients just with the general formulas that if you plug in your weight, your height, and your,
Mm,
well, you normally have to do gender, and gender is touchy it's difficult in Quidditch,
yeah.
but
Uh, Yeah, no, that's something I haven't done, and I probably won't. I think it's really important, but me myself, I don't think have. I don't think I've done enough research into it to be able to
yeah.
give other people advice, because my diet when I'm lifting is absolutely terrible. So I trying to move up weight classes. So I basically just eat what I want whenever I want. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of the times it's healthy, just like large quantities, but sometimes it's just yeah, you wouldn't want to see my meals. So yeah, I don't really feel qualified to give advice. And then also like I think lots of people get really bogged down in in nutrition
It's really tricky. It's really difficult.
yeah, and like
I
fundamental
definitely
issues.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if someone is able to put something out there, that would be really useful. But yeah, I don't think it would be me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, as I told you, I'm definitely I just took on a lot of things and just started doing like a lot of the fitness as a career as well. But it's quite recent, and I took on a lot of things. So I've decided to give myself some time to sort of settle and let my brain
Hmm.
adjust to what I've got so far before I go into doing something new again. Because I like you can only do so much sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I
So,
saw that you got
but
some certifications or qualifications or something this summer.
yeah,
How did that
so
go?
I recently got my level 2 gym instructor um, certification, and then I got 5 titles to do like group class fitness. You kind of have to get qualifications for each one of them. So it's actually one, which is like it is really related, like is what I base my training on, and I think for someone that would be looking into starting from brand new, group fitness is something that they could really look into, and a lot of gyms have it. Um, but it's like classes such as like body pump, for example, which is small weights and a lot of repetition, and it's something that, well, the provider brands the class as like the fastest way to get fit, just because you have the weights which are not too small. Like for example, you can do 5 minutes of squats, just like different tempos, different repetitions on like of my as a reference, my easy weight is 20 kilos, but I can go a bit heavier. But I seen guys like going up to 40, 45, maybe 50. You can't really do more than that because your legs wouldn't
Yeah.
do it, which is obviously so is much more, it's much less than what you can do if you just go into do 1 or 5 squats in the rack. Um, but that one's really good because it trains your endurance. So for something like Quidditch, endurance is good as well. Like the higher reps, more than 12 reps is you enter into endurance. I think for strength is around 8 to 10. No, 5, max 8 to 10, and after that you enter endurance. And I do one that is like mixed martial arts, one that is like pure cardio slash sports conditioning, one that is more yoga based, and one that is like hit, and there's one that is like hit with weights, and that one is, if everyone in Quidditch did that one, the sport would be so different. It's just a lot of like as many reps as possible, as many like just every minute on the minute sort of things, tabatas and stuff like that, with
Mm.
clean and presses, quads with a bar, um, just rows, flies and stuff like that. It's obviously like less weight again, like maybe 5, 10, 15 kilos on the bar. But by doing the endurance, at the end of the 30 minutes, you just want to kill yourself. But it's, it's amazing training.
Yeah. And I wanted to
So,
say again how good your Zoom home classes were. Like it was really
oh,
good.
thank you.
So
Yeah, I'm still doing that. Hopefully, we'll get more Quidditch people eventually.
is that similar to what you do in the gym, or have you made it
Yeah,
different? Okay.
yeah, yeah. And like a lot of my personal training, the one that I do for myself, is those classes as well, because
Okay.
I do, well, right now I go like 10 classes a week. So if I use that as my own training as well, then I'm saving time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's quite a lot. That's loads. And then so for the
Yeah.
home Zoom ones, are you just pitching those to Quidditch people, or is that like, are there other non-Quidditch people that do them as well?
Well, right now I got as regulars is about 8 Quidditch people, and no wait, yeah, around 8, 7, 6. I'm terrible with the numbers. And I've got 4 that are not Quidditch people.
Okay.
So it's not just targeted for Quidditch people, but it would be. I mean, it's exercise.
Yeah.
Is good for Quidditch people. I do want to eventually do some sort of similar to what you're doing, but more based on the endurance side of it. Like I've seen you used to compete, like lifting.
Yeah, it's been a year. Not been able to do anything and compete in the last 12 months, but hopefully if things get back to normal, oh yeah, I'll start competing again. And now that this marathon's over and done with, I'm focusing away from cardio.
Yeah, so I would like to do something similar to what you're doing. Obviously, you're probably much more experienced. Not probably, definitely more experienced on the heavy lifting than me. But I think because I would I would do the other side, the power, the endurance bit of it to again targeted more to Quidditch players.
Mm. Yeah, and I think there's a need for it as well. Um, and also, there's so many other sports you can draw upon, because obviously there's no research around Quidditch. There's no established programs or like professional teams. Um, so when I was looking at this program, I looked at quite a few different sports to see what they'd done, and I just kind of picked things from different sports just on the strength side. But there's quite a lot as well on the endurance side, in most established sports. So yeah, you can kind
Yeah,
of piece together a Quidditch version from everything else.
yeah, yeah. It's really cool. I wish more people would be up for doing these kind of things because it's a way we can work towards making Quidditch a more real sport by
Yeah,
getting people sporty.
yeah,
I remember the PQC in Newcastle. Um, there was the guy in the van for the food. He just made a comment to like Matt, my partner, that he said like the sport looks really interesting. It's like it looks almost fun, like it would be amazing if people like if this was done by actual athletes, then it would be amazing. But it's played by you guys essentially. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think if like a high level dodgeball player or like a high level rugby player joined the sport, they would just completely take over, and like just a handful
Mhm.
of them, and it would be just a completely different sport. I think you'd need to give a semi-professional rugby player maybe a month to learn the rules, and then they'd probably be one of the best players in the
Yeah,
sport. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I think what we have to do is the inverse. We need to bring the floor up rather than uh, bring down people to raise the ceiling. Like if we can get
yeah,
the if we can give confidence to the least athletic people, then I think that will start to raise everyone up. If we give everybody the building blocks to be able to run faster, play for longer, throw harder and further, then that's
yeah,
the best way to go for what we currently have.
yeah, yeah. That's why I think yeah, what you're doing is probably going to be really useful. Hopefully, people will
I hope so.
um pick it up and take some action. But yeah, I think if you do go and explain why this is useful and how, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
Is
yeah. So I'm going to hopefully get the program out this week, and then maybe write up a longer why and explanation of everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is
Yeah.
though, like with all of this, is that we are in the middle of a pandemic. So then there are
Yeah.
concerns. I think people may be concerned about going into gyms, but yeah, at the minute in tier 2, gyms aren't affected. But yeah, who knows what will happen in the
Mm,
future.
yeah. Have you thought about like adapting it to sort of barbells or stuff that people can do at home? Because if you think about the average Quidditch player, they're not going to go into the gym day one and lift 100 kilos. So it's a lot of things that they could sort of pre-build at home with a set of dumbbells or a
Um,
light bar sort of thing.
yeah, so the program will allow people to lift light. Like I don't really expect anybody to be many people to be lifting 100 kilos, but it is gym specific. So I haven't
Okay.
made it for like a home workout. Um, so when I did that survey, it was kind of 50-50 as to people looking for gym information and home information. Um, I'll send that to you actually because I think it might give you some ideas for home workout stuff. Um,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, because maybe you'd be better placed because I've never really um, given much time to home stuff because I've always just been in the gym. But
Yeah.
I think there is a need there and people would be interested for that. So yeah, maybe in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool. And to be honest, I get it. I'm trying to run my Monday session is a strength session, and I would love to for everyone to have a bar at their houses and be able to do like so many more things. But I'm having to do most of it body weight or with people even do it with water bottles, but it's
Mm,
you're not really gonna do like sort of like clean and press or stuff like that with water bottles because the weight is not enough for you to actually put
yeah,
a workout on that. But
yeah.
yeah, it's
With the home stuff, I think you have to be creative. And what I saw during lockdown is that people are very creative. So before I decided the reason decided to start running over summer is because the gyms were closed, and I tried for I couldn't get any home weights for love or money. So I just decided to have a break from lifting and go back to running. But what I saw online was so many people had crazy home setups. Like they were making stuff out of wood, they were gluing things together to make bars and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not sure how you could do it to um, add a resistance element, but people are creative. People will find a way.
yeah, yeah. Even so, people swimming in like long distances in their pools, just like with a
Yeah,
belt and something tied up to a wall.
yeah. I've spoken to a couple of other coaches and I've asked some like stock questions. So kind of, so I'll ask you, like when you see Quidditch in the UK, and you see like the different levels of athleticism, are there any like areas which you think are generally lacking? Like, are there any physical things that you see the lots of players in the community lack a little bit?
I think the answer to that is just general fitness, just general, like if you think about it, most of the people just train the one time a week they go to the Quidditch training and they only do like Quidditch training is not too demanding most of the times.
Mm.
So it's like a lot of stoppage, a lot of things, and you don't cover any strength training. Is mainly so it's mainly just the running, the throwing, but you don't see much progress in that other than just technique.
Yeah.
But you're never really able to throw any farther or run any faster because you're not really training that. You're just training ability. So something that is really lacking is a program of people to do outside. Because even if you implement, like a lot of uni teams, for example, that have the weekend and the week training, and maybe the week training is a bit shorter than they try to do something fitness. But most of them are run by people that don't really understand fitness, and they might just do like a gauntlet or something like that, and just like something with random that doesn't really progress into anything or doesn't really have any sort of understanding behind why you're doing what you're doing, so it doesn't take them anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like what you're doing, the strength training, something that people can do in their own time.
Yeah.
It
I
would
think,
definitely be much better.
yeah, and I think that there aren't many, but there are some teams that do have like dedicated um, both fitness and specifically strength training. So I've seen the Raw Phoenix have like a weekly session in the gym, and they've got like a strength and conditioning coach who takes them through the moves. And I was talking to Zena from Sheffield, and
Mm-hmm.
for the past few years they've had a strength and conditioning coach who's taken them to the gym and shown them the moves. So I think it is positive for the future. It shows that people are interested. Just not everybody has access to that. So yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully that can change in the future. Um, and so like
yeah.
when you maybe Manchester as well, but for Olympians, when you have a training session, um, do you set any of it aside to work on fitness, or is it all mainly like drills and technique and stuff?
We mainly do drills and technique, but we do put some in between, especially for the Olympians. We put some, like now on the Olympians, time for fitness. But mostly what we do is like agility and endurance again. So not really, you're in the park, so not really doing much strength.
Yeah.
It's just getting power in the legs. So stuff like ladders and runs between cones to get like changing direction, changing speeds.
Hmm.
Maybe going up down the floor to pick up something, going up and down. So like picking balls from the floor, getting up, running, coming back. Those sort of things that are not really just a game drill, but are giving you the ability to get up and down, like sort of like a burpee in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you see that in
uh,
almost every sport. Is that? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we're stealing like a lot of leg drills and agility from like football and American football and stuff like that is really, really good. The ladders from football
Hmm.
just give you the ability in the feet.
Yeah.
And from American football as well to get the turns and get the speed and strength.
Yeah. One of the things I'm most happy with over this summer is that I've got really into American football. Like I never paid it much attention before, but yeah, now I'm a bit obsessed. And not just with the game.
It's really
Like
cool.
yeah, it's really cool, and I don't know what I've been wasting my life. But yeah, no, it's cool. And then also the training side of it as well. Like when I look at how those guys train compared to not just Quidditch but most sports, like it's so intense, and they dedicate so much to it. Like they have just teams and teams of people, like an individual programming and stuff. Is that's the
Mm.
future of Quidditch, I hope.
And yeah, and it was one thing really cool for them as well is that they have specific training for the different positions.
Yeah.
So that's something that would be, I would love for that to happen in Quidditch. Just to have like different trainings for different people on pitch, depending on what their job on pitch is. Because right now is what I said at the beginning. We just all play the same. So 4 chases and 2 beaters, and there's not much, like, everyone does the same job. Some might be able to do it better than others, but you don't have like the heavy carrier or the heavy defender or the speedy wing or something like that. That would require a different type of training.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember who I was talking to this about, but I was wondering like whether you would have, whether the scope in Quidditch to specialize training even further than that, even within positions. So if you got someone that's really good at receiving versus someone who's a great driver, or any of the combinations, would you take the time to double down and make that person even better at what they're good at already? Or do you take extra time to make them more rounded because there's so much chaos in Quidditch, and at some point everybody's going to have to do everything just because wedges are flying around?
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I think it's always good to be a go-round player, but I think it's good to be a really specific and really specialized in something that I really enjoyed last season in playing with the Olympians is that we had sort of that for the beaters. Like we are really different in our abilities, but we were playing to when we were needed instead of a normal rotation sort of thing. Like you go after 3 people, the first in the line, and then you go back until like the 3 people in your line have been. So I think potentially for this to become like a really, really good proper sport, you would have to be specialized in the one thing you're good. You see it in any other sport. You see it in American football. They just go into defend and they don't go into attack. They just go into defend. On football, the defender is the defender. They never go on the pitch. Like, so.
Yeah. In American football, it's basically 2 different teams. Like they
Yeah.
never even play together.
Yeah. I mean, that would never happen in Quidditch because it's too quick.
Yeah.
But you could have people running in from one attack, one defense, and going off to get someone else to do the second play, the next play.
Yeah, like we don't really use subs well in Quidditch. Like we have rolling subs, so there's no real need for people to get tired of to stay on for 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah, that's how it's been for God knows how long.
Yeah, that is something that I think Quidditch is missing, and something that would be really amazing to explore.
Yeah. So then, if well, I'll ask you one last question because I know you've got committee. So speaking of all these other sports, if you were able to put together like a perfect Quidditch player with like maybe a different body part from a different sport, what would your player look like?
Is it a chaser or a beater?
I'll let you decide.
So, I mean, let me think of a beater. I think to a beater, I would definitely give them a dodgeball arm, not just a hand, the full arm, which could also, like, if you think about it, it could also potentially be a tennis player arm because the move is similar.
Yeah.
And it might give you more length as well than a dodgeball. Dodgeball is sort of shorter distance.
Yeah.
It's similar, I think.
And generally, tennis players tend to be quite tall as well. So yeah, maybe you have that reach as well for tackles.
Yeah. I would make them tall, as you said, so they can reach farther, but also it might be weird, but some sort of like gymnastics ability, so they can also go like bendy and get really small, jump high, something like that. yeah, and I don't know. There has to be some sort of running, potentially something like rugby as well, just like running around people and stuff like that. It's not as important for a beater, but yeah, the agility to just sidestep and run around people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, I don't know if you've seen it, but once someone is really good at one sport, they sort of become good at any sport because
Yeah.
there's so much. Like it's just once you get the pick stuff much faster.
Yeah. I think
You get
it's I think it's
yeah,
sports
go on.
intelligence, and then also you're more in tune with what your body can do. And so if you learn the rules and the parameters of another sport, you know how far you can push your body to do X, Y, or Z.
Hmm. Yeah, now that you mentioned that, that is another reason why people should go to the gym and do some weights because they'd be able to understand what their bodies do and how to make them work better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what feedback and what impact does what you're trying to do has. I hope people take it on, and I hope more people start doing stuff like this.
I hope so. That's the whole goal, really. That's the goal behind it. Just I think if people have confidence and have like a structure, then hopefully they'll be more willing to try. But yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
and
I'll go on.
sorry, I was just some sort of like maybe it would be a good idea at some point set up some sort of like feedback or resource point somewhere like where people could contact you, for example, to check or contact someone with experience, like maybe gather a group of people that know what they're doing for people that are new to send a video and be like, hey, is my technique correct? Or can you explain me this better? Because I have no idea what I'm doing, or what do you mean by this or that,
Mm.
or stuff like that. Or someone, sometimes all you need to stick to the training is to have someone behind you being like, hey, how are you doing? You know, but obviously you can't do this for everyone.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. So for a few years now, I've been doing a similar thing with some unspeakables and a couple of players from other clubs as well. But yeah, that does take a long time. But yeah, maybe we could get like a group together of people who who kind of have a good idea of what they're doing, and we can make some kind of community of people who give advice and stuff. But yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, people getting fit. And
Yeah,
hopefully next season we got half a year to get people fit for next season.
yeah, and it does happen. So like in powerlifting, when the break happened, there was people were didn't really know what was going to happen. Either people would be at home without any weights, and they'll just get weaker, obviously. And then there were people who had like
Mhm.
small home gyms and couldn't really do what they were doing before, but they were still trying. But what has happened in the community is that almost everybody's got stronger, just because they've taken what they had, even if it wasn't much, and they've just adapted it. They've adapted the training to fit around. So yeah, maybe after, well, if when things get back to normal, we might see a new level of Quidditch. But yeah, that's just me being hopeful.
Yeah, yeah. So set up some sort of like Quidditch fitness weekend boot camp sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming on and chatting. I'll let you get off.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, once again, thanks for doing the Zoom workouts. They've been really, really good.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for putting this together as well. I think is really positive.
Thanks. I hope so. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be in touch
Yeah,
and
definitely.
see you later.
See you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.